The keto diet is talked about so much these days, and maybe you're just wondering what is the keto diet, and there's so much conflicting information on it, or just a lot of information in general. And you want to know, does it actually work? Does it actually work for losing weight? And there are other reasons to eat keto if you don't even have weight to lose. But I'm guessing you're watching my videos and this video in particular because you want to know, can keto help you lose weight? I understood keto a little bit back in 2012 when I learned about the paleo diet. And before that, I tried the Atkins diet for a short time, which is basically meat and vegetables. And the paleo diet was meat and vegetables and a little bit of fruit and nuts. No grains and no dairy. So that was paleo diet. I wasn't able to sustain the paleo diet because it was too restrictive. That was one of my diets that I tried. Never got to the root cause of why I kept yo-yo dieting until 2021 when I discovered intermittent fasting, keto, and low carb diet. So the keto diet, when I understood it, I was watching various videos online from different doctors, and to understand that you have to get your carbs and your sugars low enough in your body for your body to start burning ketones instead of burning sugar. And it needs to be under 50 carbs, but most likely under 15 carbs. Now, being under 15 carbs a day is very difficult if you're eating a standard American diet or a standard food pyramid. It's really, really hard because there's so many carbs, so much sugar in the regular diet. And so I had never really tried it long term. I'd never seen, does it actually work to eat this way? Can I sustain it? How long can I go without eating very much sugar? So I tried it, and it's really, really difficult. I would get sugar cravings when I was trying to go off of sugar, and that was very frustrating, which would make me want to go off of the diet again. So I had to find a balance. I would try keto for a day or two, and then I would increase my carbs. So when I was trying keto, I would have eggs and meat and vegetables and nuts and a little bit of dairy. So basically no fruit, no added sugar, no grains at all, no legumes, etc. So it was really hard to maintain that, and I realized I'm cutting out whole food groups. If you think of the food pyramid and there's food groups, then I'm cutting whole food groups out, which means you have less variety, which means it can get boring. So I had to have as much variety within those food groups. Instead of just eating 3 types of vegetables, I would go and try to get 15 to 20 types of vegetables if they were available, so that I wouldn't get bored, because I can get bored really easily. To make this sustainable, I needed to have a lot of variety to try to do keto. Now, I was premenopausal at that point in time when I started in 2021. 2022, I had a full hysterectomy. They found cancer. So now it's 2023. I have been maintaining my weight loss for 2 full years. I still try to do keto. I know it helped when I was losing weight, and I would cycle through having keto one day and several days with higher carbs, and I'd cycle back through. It did help me lose weight. It did help me get over my sugar addiction, because when you're cutting out all the sugar, you don't crave the sugar, and that's how I was recovering from the sugar addiction. I don't believe I'll ever recover fully because it was such a huge part of my life, and it's everywhere. It's very hard to completely get rid of the temptations of the sugar around me, but I keep my carbs low enough. I'm averaging probably around 50 carbs a day. I don't count anymore, but when I did count, when I was losing the weight, and remember what types of foods have higher carbs. So go watch the videos from the scientists, from the doctors that are talking about ketones, the whole biological mechanism of why when you have lower carbs in your body, why you don't crave so many carbs, why you can be a fat burning body instead of a sugar burning body, all of those things. Learn from the various people that are out there, the doctors, the scientists that are talking about that. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I'm learning from those people, putting it into practice, finding what works, finding what did work for me. And the keto diet does work, but it's not sustainable long term unless you are very, very strict with what you put in your body, because it's just really, really hard to maintain. And Some people can't do it. It's just too fewer carbs. And I have heard that women overall maybe need more carbs in their body. And for me, I just feel better when I have around 50 carbs in a day, maybe even up to 100. I'm not gaining weight at that level. If I ate 200 or 300 carbs a day, which I used to, I would be gaining weight again. So when I keep it down and when the carbs are coming from whole foods, I try to eat only whole foods, one ingredient food. What the food looks like before it's cooked, I can still recognize it at the end. There's not been so many other ingredients that have been added that I don't recognize it, which to me is the equivalent of processed foods. You don't even recognize what the end product was. So whole foods and not grains and not added sugar. I very rarely even eat honey now. So when you're wanting to try keto to lose weight, learn about it, learn why it's beneficial and why it is helpful to lose weight, and see if it works for you. Try it for a day. Just try to eat no added sugar and no grains and see how your body does. And it does take a little while to get used to that, but just try it out. See if you can sustain that. Maybe do it every 3 days or something like that. And then slowly get used to having fewer carbs in your body and just try it out. I think it might be called carb cycling, where you have fewer carbs one day, more carbs the next day. So the keto diet is very restrictive. If you have high willpower and high motivation and you write down everything you're eating and make sure that your carbs are under 15 grams a day, then you can do it. One other thing about the keto diet or low carb diet in general that was very eye-opening for me was that once I cut the carbs lower, I didn't crave food. I wasn't hungry. Now, before that, I knew what hunger pains were. When I didn't have enough sugar in my body and I was used to being a sugar burner, like my body was using sugar as fuel, I would get hungry. I'd literally feel this gnawing in my stomach if I hadn't had sugar or hadn't had food within a few hours. Maybe 5 hours, I would start feeling that. Since I've tried the keto and low carb diet, I don't have hunger pains. And this is actually normal. From what I understood from some of the doctors I was watching on YouTube, that is actually normal. You won't actually feel the hunger pains. And that is a sign that you're actually living on the ketones and the fat instead of living on the sugar. So that was interesting to experience that I'm not feeling hungry. I actually have to remind myself to eat. I don't have my body saying it's time to eat. I have to remind myself to eat. I have to say, oh, we've gone 4, 5, 6 hours. I should probably eat. I'll have one meal, say around 1 or 2 o'clock. I haven't been hungry up till 1 or 2 o'clock. This is what's amazing when you keep your carbs low and you're burning fat instead. It's amazing that you literally don't feel that hunger. So that's an advantage of going keto or low carb, is that you won't feel that hunger because your body isn't needing that sugar rush. That's just a very, very quick overview of keto, how it worked for me, how I've incorporated it, and just recommendations. Do your own research, look into this, try it out, try it for a few days if you can, and see how your body adjusts, but know that it might take some time to get into that, your body being in ketosis, becoming a fat burning machine instead of a sugar burning machine. But see if it's sustainable. It's not just how does my body feel, but thinking, can I incorporate this into my lifestyle? Does it work with the people I'm living with? Does it work with the food that's available to me? It's all of those things that you're going to have to look at and see, can this work? It does work for losing weight, but how is it going to work for you specifically? I hope this video was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thanks for watching.